always like that intro scene where it says not produced or licensed by Sega. And if you look, there's like a little flicker graphic that plays right before it. That's very intentional, that sort of flicker that comes up. I actually recorded that for me turning on a real game console, my own Sega Saturn. It's not a Sega Genesis because I don't have the cables to hook my Genesis up to a capture card, but that's the real flicker you get, the real video flicker when you turn on a game console. And I deliberately put that into this engine just for that sake. And for some reason the file works this time. I don't know. It also didn't save my last file, so that's a good bug. I guess we'll skip right to Act 2. We'll play as Tails, all items. We'll deal with replays in a little bit, but regretfully, like, Super Tails in this game is not the proper real Super Tails. It's just Tails with a glowing palette. Because I didn't want to like go through the trouble of coding in all the artificial intelligence for the birds that fly around Tails and all this other stuff. If you actually download the latest version of Sonic Worlds, that's one of those things that it does better than Sonic Forever, is you actually do get the little birdies that buzz around Tails like in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Let's see. Thing to get to the secret, I need to come back here, land on this, jump, and then fly from here. Because it is way up at the very highest point of this level. You see, you just barely have enough effort to get up here. And here's my lovely Easter egg. That is Splats the Rabbit, an unused enemy from Green Hill Zone in the original Sonic the Hedgehog. I know, this is terrifically funny, and everybody gets the joke, and I'm a genius. Actually, it is incredibly dumb, but it's cute nonetheless, I think. So that's the fantastic, terrific Easter egg that I put in this game. And I guess, just for completion's sake, we'll get enough rings to become Super Tails. Oh, well, I don't know if the microphone's picking that up, but the dog next door is barking, so thanks for that, dog next door. There we go, that's enough rings. And you know me, I like my lighting effects. So I guess the only thing left to do is to play through all this as Modern Sonic. And Modern Sonic was interesting. He came like relatively late in me thinking about all of this. Not so late that like he wasn't in Act 1 or anything, but he came late enough to where I went back and forth on whether or not I wanted Modern Sonic to be a parody of actual Modern Sonic. I think the idea originally developed out of Sonic 4 having the homing attack, and I thought, well, that's kind of dumb. The homing attack isn't really very useful in 2D games. The homing attack was invented to make it easier to play Sonic games in a 3D space. So I figured, well, what if I did, you know, a modern Sonic character in classic Sonic to show how dumb that idea is? And I went back and forth on whether or not modern Sonic should be bad on purpose, or if he should actually be fun. The original idea was that he'd be like super handicapped and terrible, kind of control like Sonic 06 a little bit, but eventually that evolved to where, you know, he has the Sonic Rush boost, and then, you know, I was thinking, well, now he's too powerful. I wanted to do like leaderboard stuff for Sonic Forever, and if modern Sonic is too powerful, then everyone's just going to use him to dominate all the leaderboards. So, you know, I should nerf him in that regard too. And I just went back and forth on whether or not modern Sonic should be strong or weak or both. And eventually I landed on something that I think balances the two out. The general idea is that modern Sonic is really, really fast, but he's not so fast that he's faster than Classic Sonic when Classic Sonic is rolled into a ball. So it becomes this thing where Modern Sonic looks like he's the fastest character in the game, but if you put Classic Sonic into the hands of a really experienced player, he'll still be faster than Modern Sonic in most scenarios. And at the end of this, I kind of want to try demonstrating that a little bit. I'm a little bit rusty, but we'll use the Ghost Replay system, and we'll, you know, I'll play through the level once as Classic Sonic, and then we'll race him as Modern Sonic. Because that's a feature I was like really proud of that I was able to make in this engine. I've had ideas on how to do ghost replays for a really long time, and it wasn't until this game here that I was finally able to like put them into production and test them out and make sure they work. And as it turns out, they work very, very well. And that's probably like the most organized piece of coding I made for Sonic Forever was my replay system. I remember slaving over that to make sure that, you know, the code was readable, because it's so easy to get confused when you're writing something as complex as a ghost replay system. You'll notice here that the Speed Shoes have been converted into a Sonic Rush Boost Refill power-up. That's entirely intentional. I don't know if we'll be able to get it to trigger here, but there's actually a really nasty bug with the homing attack, where sometimes it like shoots you off in the complete wrong direction. And I never really figured out how to fix that. As near as I could tell, it was a bug with Multimedia Fusion, like some kind of math rounding error or something. I guess this would be something we could have shown off with Knuckles, because that was supposed to be like a Knuckles-specific secret, because it's the easiest to find if you're just climbing up that wall. You'll notice that Modern Sonic has a different sprite in Act 3. There was a specific spriting project a few years ago. I don't remember the name of it right now. Maybe I'll put it either on screen right now or in the video description. A bunch of sprite artists got together and collaborated on making their own custom Modern Sonic sprite. And that's what this guy is. It's like, I forget, it's like the Modern Sonic Spriting Project. It was something really generic like that. But that's Modern Sonic for you. I really like their sprite. They've done two versions of the sprite in Act 1 and Act 2, where the first version they did, and the sprite in Act 3 was the second version they did. But I promised you guys we'd be doing a ghost race, so let's do a ghost... Wait, go back. Act 3, Classic Sonic, all items, record a replay, and I guess I'll cheat a little bit, and we'll race Super Sonic. Now again, I'm really, really rusty, so I might not be able to demonstrate this all correctly. But let's find out, I guess. Let's see if I can pull this off. I didn't! Oh no! Oh no! There was a trick back there with that slope you could pull off, where if you jumped at the right angle and spun the moment you landed, you get like a super speed boost. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to win this. My times with Modern Sonic on this level are usually like 40 seconds. And one of the last things I was working on in Act 3 here was a system of like doing a new replay system. I didn't like the way the score tally listed at the end of a level when you did a replay, and I was trying to fix that. So we'll do Racer Replay, do this guy. The replay system was something that was actually broken, in the version I was working on yesterday. So, maybe you'll notice, maybe we'll zoom past him too quickly, but you're actually racing Metal Sonic. It is a skin of Metal Sonic that replaces Classic Sonic, and that's the case with all the replays you race, is that it's like this ghost of Metal Sonic, I guess, or whatever. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore because I'm trying to concentrate so hard on going fast. Aw. Yep. One of the last bugs I was trying to fix in this replay system, there's like a weird discrepancy between... Gosh, what is it? It's hard to describe. It takes time for your victory animation to play, and that can sometimes skew the times that you're achieving through time attacks, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And I was trying to fix that bug for so long, and, you know, I don't think I ever really got around to fixing it. There was a way I knew what I could do to fix it, and I just never got around to implementing it. But that was the Ghost Replay mode. Actually, here, let's do something a little more fair. Let's race two classic characters so that it is easier to tell, you know, what you're racing. One of the things, that was another bug you'll notice, it actually points off screen to where the other character is, and it says 2P for 2-player. It's not centered on the circle properly. I don't know what's wrong with that code. Something about it broke, and I've never been able to fix it. Like, I've double and triple and quadruple checked the code, and something about it just doesn't work right. So for some reason, the 2P is always off-center if Metal Sonic is off-screen. So I don't know. But even Knuckles is faster than that Classic Sonic run I just did. So that should tell you how poor that play was. Oh, and we got to see Knuckles in Act 3. With his nice Knuckles Chaotix Act Clear music. So that was Sonic Forever. It's probably never getting finished because I just don't have like the time or the money to work on fan games anymore. One last thing we'll look at before we go is Sonic Worlds Delta. I mentioned this earlier, that it is basically the same engine as Sonic Forever, but a lot better. We're actually going to jump into Multimedia Fusion here real quick, or I guess it's probably ClickTeam Fusion, and we're going to just do a quick run through because there is a level in Sonic Worlds Delta. Even if you don't have ClickTeam Fusion, it comes with an executable where you can play the level that's included in the test level. Let's see if OBS is picking this up properly. It is, good, okay. We'll accept the controls. Not too long ago, I actually did work here in Sonic Worlds. The original version, well, not the original version, but a version put out a few months ago, they added Shadow the Hedgehog as a playable character. And Shadow the Hedgehog's controls are a lot like modern Sonic. He can boost, he has a homing attack and everything else. But I didn't really like the way they'd implemented their Shadow the Hedgehog. After doing my own modern Sonic and Sonic Forever, after agonizing so long over the way I thought he should control, I looked at their Shadow the Hedgehog and I was like, gosh, you know, if you guys want, I'll just port over my modern Sonic code into Sonic Worlds Delta, and that's exactly what I did. So, even if you want to make levels with my modern Sonic implementation, just download Sonic Worlds Delta, because it has modern Sonic. All you have to do is change the sprites around so it's not Shadow anymore. And the great thing is, like, their homing attack works a lot better than mine. I still had to go in and, like, change some stuffs about how their homing attack works, but overall it's a much cleaner, it's a much safer implementation. It's not perfect, but I don't know if it ever could be perfect because of the way Click Team Fusion actually works. And I'm really failing to lock onto that Buzz Bomber there. But you'll see here. Yep, homing attack works just like it should. And as you saw earlier, there is a boost. And I've kind of run out of things to say, as it turns out. There's elemental shields. The loadout system I had in Sonic Forever is not available in Sonic Worlds here. Gosh, so many of these things start with Sonic. Every time I say one, there's something in my brain that has to stop and think, am I talking about Sonic Legends? Am I talking about Sonic Worlds? Or am I talking about Sonic Forever? And boy, that's a little bit hard to keep straight in your head, let me tell you that. So as you can see, this is actually a pretty fully featured engine. You can push objects, there's lava, there's springs, there's various layering functionality, the homing attack. We're not Sonic, so we can't use the elemental shields, but there is elemental shield functionality. There's all these pre-made level gimmicks, like these corkscrews from Metropolis Zone in Sonic 2. All kinds of fun stuff you could play with if only you had Click Team Fusion. And Click Team Fusion goes on sale a lot on like Steam, and I think there was even a Humble Bundle at one point. So chances are, if you want to make your own Sonic games, your own 2D classic Sonic games, you'll be able to pick it up relatively cheaply at some point in the future. I think normally it's like 80 bucks new, but you know, if you catch it on sale, you'll get it for like 40 or even like $20. Here's the one test boss they have for this test level. And really, the homing attack just kind of makes a chump out of him. So that is Sonic Worlds Delta. This is version 1.5.1, and that was the Modern Sonic implementation I helped with. Shoutouts to Mr. Potato Badger, the person who originally coded Shadow in the engine. When I complained about how lame their implementation of Shadow was, I feel kind of like I stepped all over him, and that I've never felt good about that. You know, I think he tried really hard to do a really good implementation of Modern Sonic, and there were certain things about it I didn't like. I'm just gonna show off Amy really quick. I didn't have any hand in coding Amy at all, but she's based on her Sonic Advance control set, where she doesn't really spin when she jumps. She uses her hammer for attacks. You know, things like that. So, you know, if you like the way Amy played in Sonic Advance, well, she's also in Sonic Worlds, as it turns out. Gosh, what was it? It was... okay, yeah. When you run with Amy and her hammer comes out, if you jump, she gets like an extra high jump. Yeah, there we go. It goes, whoa, whoop. Nope, that didn't work. Oh, come on, you can make it. Oh, well. I guess we'll just real quick show you what the editor looks like. Here, actually, I was gonna show what Prism Hill looked like, but I guess we'll just show what Sonic Worlds Delta looks like. So that's the level editor. Actually, yeah, let's load up the right one. Here, we need to close that. The thing about Sonic Worlds also is that it only works in Multimedia Fusion 2. Or, see, I got mixed up. The thing about Sonic Forever is that it only works in Multimedia Fusion 2. If you want to use Click Team Fusion, the current version of the tool that Click Team has put out, you need to use Sonic Worlds Delta. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. That's another reason why you don't want the Sonic Forever code. So here's Act 3. This is a work-in-progress version. That's why there's all these rings and shields and things at the start. I'm only saying this because the version of the video I recorded last night, I went through the level like this. Here's the Moai heads I made. That's a good-looking sprite. And like, I struggled for so long to make this look thematically appropriate with the Sonic the Hedgehog style. Originally, he was a lot more realistic looking, and he had a lot more shading and a lot more texture, and I thought, gosh, he doesn't look very good. He doesn't look like he belongs in a classic Sega Genesis Sonic game. So, over the course of like a week, I really struggled to get this design to work properly. But if like you're familiar with Mario Maker or anything else like that, this should actually be pretty familiar to, you know, a level editing tool. You know, you can just pick up stuff and drag it around and move it wherever you want. And obviously there's alpha blending support, which is why there's a drop shadow on this. I say that like it shouldn't have alpha blending support, but I don't think Multimedia Fusion did until Multimedia Fusion 2, and I think it's still a little bit weird how you do alpha blended sprites. If you want to look at my code, well, yeah, you can see I was digging through the demo recording stuff. Here starts the Sloppy Code Editions by Blaze Hedgehog. You'll notice I name all my code groups all these dumb things. Knuckles, that's for all the code I had to write for Knuckles. Don't Push Me, that's for, I think, not pushing against level tiles? I don't really remember. Post-Modern Sonic, Chris Boost Remo, the Homely Attack. You don't want this code. It is a mess. It's only understandable by me. Sonic 4-ism. I don't even know what this does. What does that do? I'm not sure. I think that's for like airspeed drag, but I think Sonic Worlds already models airspeed drag, so maybe I double it? I'm not sure. This Sonic Forever engine is such a hacked together mess. Some of these code groups even say Modern Sonic Sound Hack. Spinny Spike Platform, Corkscrewed, Spray Platform. The entire game must be contained in the running group, etc., etc., etc. Video dump. This is something that I don't think I ever really did anything with. What this does, Multimedia Fusion and ClickTeam Fusion have like a screenshot extension you can download that will take a screenshot whenever you signal it, so it'll dump like to a bitmap file on your hard drive. So what I ended up doing is I wrote this system to where it would dump a bitmap for every frame rendered, and this was back when I couldn't really run my own game full speed very well, so I wrote this tool to dump all these bitmaps so that I could get full 60 frames per second recording without having to resort to like Fraps or Cam Studio or whatever else. Obviously that's less of an issue now, though I'm not sure how OBS is going to handle all this. That is a downside of using ClickTeam Fusion, is that there's a lot of overhead, and an engine like Sonic with all these complex physics calculations, it can run kind of slowly. So that's another weird thing to keep in mind, I guess. And I guess that's technically it. Thank you very much for watching my video. And I guess we'll just use the credit sequence from the Mario Maker videos so that I don't have to go through and look up my Patreon supporters wherever they are. I should probably keep them on like a notepad for videos like this. So again, I'm going to end up saying this like 4 times between now and the credits, but again, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you learned something. Check the video description for links to Sonic Forever, to Sonic Worlds, to whatever else I deem relevant for this video, and maybe it'll be multiple episodes, who knows. I think I've been recording here for like an hour, and I think the video itself will probably end up being like an hour. So, yeah, again, thanks for watching. Hey there, thanks for watching my video. If you liked it enough, maybe you could consider subscribing to my channel. I've got a lot of videos coming up in the future and like literally 10 years worth of stuff in my archive. If you'd like to hear me talk more about making games, you can also check out my Tumblr blog, where lots of users ask me questions about lots of different topics. And if you really like what I'm saying, you can even support me and my content on Patreon. For just $1 or $2 a month, you get exclusive access to podcasts, original games I've created, and even secret videos. A big shout out to all my current Patreon supporters, like Rose, Christopher, Ryan L, Keith, Ryan M, Anders, Matt, Tom B, Thomas, Connor, Setsune, Nolan, Dave, Brandon, and Logan. If you'd like to be one of those supporters, just head on down to patreon.com/blazehedgehog. Patreon funds help me buy new equipment and make everything I do for you guys even better. Once again, just visit patreon.com/blazehedgehog to show your support. And once again, thank you very much for watching. Oh wait, there's one more thing I wanted to show you guys. Using Sonic Worlds, I started developing something terrible, and I don't think I'll ever finish it, but I think it's worth showing you anyway. So, I'm a fan of irony. And something really ironic that I thought about once is that, you know, what if there was a Bubsy game that was as good or better than Sonic the Hedgehog? Nobody really likes Bubsy. He's been kind of like this in-joke for a really long time. But what if there was actually like a good Bubsy game? What if he controlled properly? What if he had good level design? So I started porting Bubsy to the Sonic Worlds Delta engine. And I don't think it'll ever go any further than this, because again, there's no time in my life to mess around with something like this. But, you know, it's just a cool, weird, dumb thing in a way that I like cool, weird, dumb things. So, rest in peace, Bubsy. Maybe one day I'll do something with you, and maybe you'll get your time to shine.